Buenos clase. This is a quick tour of the possible activities for vocab practice in conjuguemos. So once you've logged into the class, your conjuguemos, and you're in our class, you scroll down, you're going to see the list of available activities. And as we go through the semester, so that it's a little easier for you to find things, I will add things as we get to new topics. The old topics will always stay. So to enter a particular vocab practice, you just click on the title. It's going to open, give you a choice of activities. You can do graded practice, you can do flashcards, you can do games. You also have the option of getting a vocabulary list that you can print out, or a paper version of a crossword, a word search, or flashcard so that you can cut out and paste to index cards. So what I want to see most in here is you daily practicing in the graded practice, because the graded practice keeps track of how well you're doing with the vocabulary. It will give you, it gives both of us some good information. So when you click on graded practice, it's going to tell you what, to use the activity for. You're going to see a clock in the upper right that is going to be defaulted to 5 minutes. You can change that by clicking on it. I suggest 10 to 15 minutes a day, practicing vocabulary until you're scoring a 90% or better. So you can save that. You can also turn the timer off if you just want to sit and practice. That's fine without it automatically stopping, and it'll end, the activity will end when the timer ends, unless you stop it. So you will get the English word, and your job is to type the Spanish. So you'll type that in. Now, if you have the international keyboard, you can use those shortcuts for accents. If not, little prompts will pop up for letters that could have an accent. And if you need it with an accent, you can just click it. Okay, and then when you're done, you can hit enter, or you can click on check answer. It will tell you if you're correct. If you are incorrect, let me show you what happens. So you'll type in, and let's say I'm just going to make a number error. It should be plural, single. Oh no, it's not right. You'll get a noise. If you don't like the noises, mute. And it won't move forward until you type the correct version. So you will have to go in there and fix it. Then you can hit enter, and it'll give you the next prompt. And so you would then add in, and it's very particular. So if I put any punctuation, or if the vocab phrase or word has punctuation, it will not mark it right if you leave it off. Accents, question marks, so on. And so you continue. Oh, I think I put the yes on this. Practicing. Oh, I forgot the song, so I go back and I add my song. Having to retype it helps you hopefully remember it for the next time. Now, after 10 minutes, or the amount of time the clock ends, a window will pop up asking you to record score. If for some reason you have to stop early, just click record score. When this window pops up, make sure you remember to click record score again. Don't close out or just ignore it. If you don't click record score, you will not have a record of your practice, and I, more importantly, won't see the record of your practice. So you won't have evidence that you put in the time that you're supposed to practicing. So you hit record score, and it saves it. You can do a new practice, or you can exit, depending on what your plan is for the day. Now, if you decide at some point that you're tired of the graded practice, you want to try something a little different, there are other options. You can do flashcards. Now, flashcards, if you do those, I will get a record, and you will get a record of how much time you spent doing flashcards. It will not have a score. When you do games, those I do not get a record, and you do not get a record of the time you spent playing a game, but games are fine as long as I'm also seeing the graded practice. So you have the option of a multiplayer game with vocabulary tug of war. You can challenge one other student to play against you. To do that, what you will do is click on the game. When it loads, you will click invite a friend, and you will look to see if anyone from the class is logged in. That's what it means when it says available. They have to be logged into conjuguemos, and you can pick someone to challenge. Now, both first and fourth block Spanish 2 students are in the same group in conjuguemos, so you could in fact challenge people from the other class if you wanted to. And in tug of war, you will get a prompt. Both of you get the same prompt, and the first person to enter the word correctly will their character will pull the other character closer to the cliff until one of the characters goes over. And you can play the individual games. Now, the one that most people get confused about how to play at first is Splatman. So I'm going to show you real quick. You type the word, you don't get splatted. So the goal is to type in the word and not get hit with one of the objects. So I struggle with this because I don't type fast enough. I don't have good hand-eye coordination. So you have to get all the way across without anything dropping on you and get the correct word. That is Splatman. And again, games are fun. I encourage you to play them, but just keep in mind that I don't have a record of your time in conjuguemos when you play a game. So going back to the main page, I'm just going to quickly show you what I mean when I say conjuguemos keeps track for us. So if you click on my grades, you will see 2 times, because I've tried to, that I've been in here practicing. You can see the amount of time I was in the graded practice each time. You can see how many prompts I was given and how many I answered correctly. Now, I only stayed in a couple minutes, so of course there's only 5 and 7. The goal is for, in that 10 to 15 minutes, the number of prompts that you can respond to goes up, and the number you get correct goes up, and the percentage correct of all of those goes up. Your goal is to get a 90 or better. That's when you know you have a good mastery of that vocabulary. Of course, if you can consistently get a 95 or better, that's even stronger. So this is also what I would see for each student in my teacher login for conjuguemos. I will see the list of times you've been in there. I will be able to see the date, the time of day, how much time you spent, and your scores. If you do flashcards, it will show me amount of time and date and time of day, but it will not show me a score because you don't get a score on flashcards. But I will at least know that you were practicing. Okay? And that is using conjuguemos to practice your vocabulary. I'm going to close out now, and in another video we'll look at what happens when you want to practice verbs with conjuguemos.